In new owner-occupier and build-to-rent residential developments, we spend a lot of time talking about design, amenities, leasing strategy, marketing, branding. Today, I am in Sydney, checking out a development from the 90s. It was a very successful project developed over a couple of decades. With shared spaces like the pool and tennis court that you can see behind me, it's easy to see why design and amenities are usually the focus. They're often the hero features of a development. But one of the most important moments in life of a build-to-rent asset doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and that's the handover. Because handover isn't just the end of a development, it's the moment the building stops being a project and starts becoming a community. What I've noticed across a lot of residential developments is that handover is often treated as a technical milestone. Documentation is delivered, the systems are signed off, residents move in. But in reality, the handover is actually a behavioral moment. This is when residents learn how the building works, not just structurally, but socially. How should shared spaces be used? How can we make a booking? How are issues raised? What should be encouraged and what should be frowned upon? If that guidance isn't clear or consistent, then the recently appointed staff inevitably fill the gaps. They answer questions, they explain process, they end up having to step in when shared amenities are misunderstood or misused. The building is live, residents are moving in, and things just need to work. The issue is that whatever happens in those first few months tends to become the operating norm. Those resident expectations, they get set early. Staff workflows are also just as easily shaped. And the communication habits, they all form early as well. Once those patterns are established, they are going to be surprisingly hard and expensive to change. This is where a lot of long-term operational friction starts. Not because anyone made a bad decision, but because guidance wasn't treated as part of the handover process. Guiding a community at handover isn't about welcome packs and onboarding emails. It's about setting clear expectations around how shared spaces are accessed and respected, how people can enjoy the facilities of the building. It's about reducing unnecessary interaction while still making residents feel supported, and it's about helping people understand how to get value from that building without relying on staff every intervention every time. From an operating perspective, this is about protecting the model before habits form. For long-hold build-to-rent assets, small inefficiencies compound. Extra staff time, repeated questions, inconsistent use of amenities, unclear communications, these things don't show up on day one, but they will certainly show up over the life of the asset. This is what we can trace back to how the community was guided at the very beginning. And this is the lens we've taken to Central. Thinking about digital engagement not as a feature set, but as how a community is guided from day one. Because once a building is live, the cost of change goes up dramatically. So, when we talk about resident connectivity and handover and build to rent, it's worth asking a different question. Are we just handing over a building, or are we intentionally guiding the community into how that building was meant to operate? Because handover isn't just the end of the project, it's the start of everything that follows for that asset.